Welcome back to the big board. Let's see, top of turn 13, September 2 turn, North Africa 41, GMT title, Simonich game, etc. from that Zoc Bondi 4X series. Can't really see very much because of the shadow and all the rest of it. It's very thematic. But however, let's just switch the camera around and have a quick chat. Oh, we got the fan in the background and everything. There we go. Yes, right. This game is very interesting, a lot of fun. I think I'm at a stopping point here, primarily because we've got 7 VP for the Axis side, the German side. They will have to fall back from where they are. They've taken a couple of losses. They can replace those losses, but they've kind of reached the sort of the tipping point with the narrowing of the terrain around the escarpments and Mersa Matruh that they're probably not going to get very much further. And the Commonwealth forces have built up really significantly and are starting to threaten flanks and stuff like that. So the Germans have started to pull back. They're going to fall back on Sidi Barrani, and I think they can hold Sidi Barrani for a couple more turns. But at the end of the day, they're best served, I think, falling back on Sollum and the major escarpment there. And, seeing how that goes. And that way it would mean that every turn there would be no VPs allocated, and we would sit at 7 until such time as the Sollum Bardia Hellfire Pass area was broken through, and the airfield at Gambut, I think it's called, or Gambat, I can't read it from here. Yeah, Gambut, whatever. Once that was taken, then VPs would reduce 1 per turn because of the win rate that's required. Although come December 1 and December 2, the VP rate drops from 3 to 2, then down to 1. So I'm gonna call this a modest German Axis victory. Once the Vassal Module comes out, we're jumping on this full time for a full campaign for post play. So I got my feet wet with this, made a few little mistakes here and there. I evacuated the HQ out of Tobruk. It has 0 movement points. I was moving it all over the place. I didn't even notice it had a 0 MP. But not a problem because I never used it. It was always, but the threat of it being used was always there. So my bad. I'm sure there were other, I'll call them minor mistakes made along the way. There's probably in this game, and I'm not going to do a review or any of that sort of thing, but I would say generally speaking in this game, following the sequence of play fairly strictly is important, number one, as it always is, but more so here because there are things that need to happen in certain sequence. There's a lot of flexibility within a given phase of what you do and when you do it and how you do it, but making sure that you get your shipping as the Axis done correctly, that you execute on convoys correctly and convoy attacks correctly is important. Make sure you remember to roll all the time for your Allied and Axis events. Important. Supply at the end of the turn is important. I'm just going to pull the sequence of play here and see what else that I kept forgetting. So for instance, the supply attrition phase, I know for a fact the first 2 or 3 turns I didn't roll for that. I neglected to do that for both sides, which would have had a reasonable impact. But when you see how the tables are laid out, it's quite often possible. And what I actually went back and did was roll 3 times for each side, I think it was, and looked at the supply situation and worked out whether or not that would have made any difference, and I don't think it did. So neither here nor there, but it's important to remember to do that. Keeping track of the VPs and accurately keeping track of the VPs. That's one mistake I made. I thought I had just 3 airfields, but I actually had 4. So I had to go back through my pictures and stuff and work out when I captured the Sidi Barrani one, and then give myself give the Axis some VPs for that, which made all the difference because we were sitting at 2 or 3 VPs, and I was really wondering whether or not there was an opportunity for the Axis to be successful, and also wondering how in the heck we were going to get to that 4th VP location, but really it was the 4th and 5th VP locations. So that's important to keep track of. Combat is pretty straightforward. It's very reminiscent of all the other Simonich titles, as is the movement, other than the extended movement on roads for infantry is different. Roads and tracks is different. Supply tracking is important. It's a little bit different, but not terribly different than others. And then the influence of the resource points and the chits that you can purchase to conduct air and air transport and delay markers and all this other great strafing runs and all this other stuff gives a lot of replay value, because there are choices to be made there that will impact the gameplay. Is it better to have an air unit in your back pocket every turn, or is it more valuable to slow down reinforcements coming up to the front by your opponent? So lots and lots of things to consider, and I like the fact that the resources here are fairly differentiated, and so it gives you some flexibility and some choices. I really enjoyed that. Great production quality as usual. I did not see any issues or concerns with counters or counter thickness. They're pretty decent sized. I forget what size they are. I can't see the back of the box. They're probably 9/16 or ½ inch, even more bigger than ½ inch, I guess. 9/16. Yeah. And then I'm trying to think what else I liked about this. The rules well laid out, though. I have seen a couple of folks issue. Or is that a different game? That may have been a different game, so never mind. So I haven't seen any play aids released yet. Lots of good information on the map as well, and then nearly everything you need is in this bifold here. So very well done. But I would like to get on to Volume 1 of Battles in the East, because I have not looked at that volume yet. I've only played one battle out of Volume 2, and given that I'm about to, once the Vassal module's released, get stuck into North Africa 41, it seems like a good place to stop, because I just, it's been sitting for a couple of days. I've only played a turn or two, and with all this other nonsense going on in life, I'm feeling the level of urgency and enthusiasm to get after it is beginning to wane here, and I can certainly see that. Here, I'll show you that the defenses are being built around Hellfire Pass and Solemn. That's going to be a tough egg to crack, or nut to crack. I'm going to extend the resources and expend, I should say, the resources to build more fortifications here if I can. And the Germans can really have a defense in depth because of the min-max levels for attack factors and defense factors. So very, very interesting and lots of fun. I'm really looking forward to playing this Oppose. So congrats to Mark on yet another finely balanced, well-tuned, well-presented title. Thoroughly enjoying it. And just in case everyone's wondering, no, this is not a paid review or commentary. I buy 99% of all my own titles. So all the best. We'll talk to you soon, and you guys keep on rolling those dice. Ciao.